Good morning, y'all. Can y'all see stuff, hear stuff, know stuff?
Allegedly.
Yeah, maybe, possibly. We're with Scully Welly again. We are with Scully Welly again. The guys, we're at the Sunset Cliffs where Yoger Garrel hung out 3 years ago. Look at that, y'all. Absolutely beautiful. We're going to go down and check out some tide pools. If we get stupid lucky, some of those tide pools have octopi, so we'll see. Probably not this way. Making our way all to the stairs. Laura Gale, good morning. Hey, y'all, I made the comment yesterday in the mod chat that maybe we'll come to, I'll come to here, hang out for a stream. And then Scully was like, oh, I can just come with you. I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
I was like,
so
please
nicer.
don't take an Uber and then have no signal to call them back.
Oh no, I'm stuck forever.
Oh no, I can't go back to the conference.
Yeah, how sad. Allegedly, yeah, Corn, the that science stalker that Lita and I have is at the conference. So that's been fun. Found out on accident.
Luckily for me, the day at the zoo was a wavy day where I needed the cane, but so far so good. We're hiking around on these wobbly cliffs.
I was gonna say the wobbly, unsafe looking cliffs.
Worst possible case, I'll just, head back to the car and watch the water. So far so good.
Y'all, one of the really neat things, if you take a look just at the side of the cliff, the erosion that you see, so you can see it's just like a straight cut down. And so it's just constantly eroding away and just like large pieces are just falling off the side of the cliff. So at the rate that this is going, like this house right up here is going to be gone very, very soon. There's a lot of erosion going on here. And it's just, again, like big chunks falling off. It's not just like little dustings, but rather just like totally falling apart. Well, Sleazy, I'm sure the property value is high on it, but it will be gone. A lot of the houses that we saw driving up here were on the other side of the road, but basically the only separation is a chain link fence, the road, and then you've got the house. So yeah, it's a lot of erosion. There are going to be stairs that possibly take us down here. Wheels, good morning. The insurance, no, there's no insurance on these houses, y'all. I don't feel like you're going to get insured for this.
No erosion insurance. Soon to be no fire insurance.
Yeah, we'll check out some of the plant life too, but it's neat. Oh, there's a bunch of different cacti. See some prickly pear.
I think those particular stairs in particular just would take us to here. So we can hike back the other way too.
Okay. I'm sure it must be a way to get down beyond just jump because there's people out there.
Well, and there's surfers coming through.
Yeah.
Who are just going to climb.
Or you just need to catch a big enough wave to come back.
Sure. I'm sure that's how that works.
Yeah, high tide, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if we do make it back again for comparison, we can specifically look at the tide schedules.
Yeah, the different times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all, one of the things I think would be really, really cool is to come back like more in the afternoon time as well and just do a little compare and contrast. Tommy, we bugging outside. We are so bugging outside. That though, y'all, is beautiful.
I'm going to check out up here. Scout it real quick. Stairs here.
Oh, nice.
On this end. Those are the ones I could picture in my head on the old maps.
Cool. That should, take us maybe down to some of those tide pools. Again, like there's the urchins, the hermit crabs, possible octopi. It's the Pacific ring octopus, and they're like at 1 to 2 inches in length of what we'd find in the tide pool if we find one. Morning, Stackless. Yeah, there are a bunch of, I think, both hermit crabs, other variety of crabs too. Y'all don't know, follow Yoga Garrel. She actually discovered this place 3 years ago and opened it up as a national park. All thanks to Yoga Garrel. Morning, Dak. I'm sure if y'all can see down on the water, you can see a lot of the algal growth. Got like a green hue all down there. Yeah, a lot of surfers out there, Dak. Here we can...
I think I'll wear my ridiculous ring of keys just on the off chance it would fall out of all the hair and all the keys.
Yeah, like slightly nervous. Like, don't slip. So y'all, last time we came 3 years ago, Yogurt, I, Celestial Bean, and Thug Shells, Andrew, a couple others from the crew are here, but we didn't do this part of the cliffs. So there was nothing like going this far to get to this area. So here we go. There are a bunch of tide pools right out there, so maybe we'll get lucky.
Which way would you like to attempt first?
Maybe, what do you think? Sign wouldn't heighten your anxiety? Yeah, Yogurt, my anxiety is so y'all, our goal is to get somewhere out there so we can see what's living in those tide pools. It's also a Nerduino and I bonded over. We met each other like really in earnest out here. We didn't know what to talk about, so we just both went up to the tide pools and we're like, oh yes, creatures, yes.
That's what we did at the zoo, even though we've met before.
Yeah. I was like, I know you and Chad, but this is much easier. Let's connect over. And then it's what?
Your mileage may vary. Do you feel like, I just feel like at least there's some rocks to jump off.
Yeah. It's like a little bit easier to maybe go on this side.
Maybe there's some neat stuff right over there.
Yeah. It's like we'll cut that way. Actually, y'all, there's already some anemone picking around. Some of the anemones, y'all, that we've already seen. So we've got a whole micro ecosystem in each one of these little types. So ecosystem, one of these little types. You can hear me. I forgot the second. Get a please rate us out for Yogurt Garrel. We have some sea snails. Someone home. I'm not sure if you or Yogurt heard me. Second phone back at the hotel. Some of y'all wouldn't mind raid when another one here. It looks like a fair bit of them. Got more of the sea snails just like all over. If you wouldn't mind Spikes doing the usual slash shout out, well, appreciate it. We got a lobster remain here, correct, Ellen? Presumably for the water, not from someone's lunch. Sea snails. Got some coral, lots of anemones. On the lookout for some sea urchins. There are also jellyfish. Some of these tide pools, depending on which one we're looking at. Scully and I also saw some fish in one of them. And actually the marine ecosystem of the tide pools is really interesting because some fish will have their entire life cycles in one of these pools and never actually make it out to the ocean. Live, breed. Video's a bit bored. Please reset the audio. Holy heck, are those some raiders? Waffle Smacker. Raiders, welcome on in. Y'all should be able to see and hear us now. Welcome on in, you guys. How was the stream? What were y'all up to today? No, yeah, Waffle Smacker may have broken it. Guys, how was the stream? What were y'all up to today, folks? If you don't follow Professor Waffle Smacker is an incredible streamer extraordinaire, creator of the Ironmon Mario in conjunction with Data Dave. Guys, how was the stream? What were you up to? We here today are at the Sunset Cliffs in San Diego, California. We are exploring the Sunset Cliffs. There are a ton of small tide pools with mini ecosystems around here that we're checking out. I'm here on a conference and I don't have to do stuff until the afternoon. So I was like, let's go take y'all on an adventure to see some really cool nature. For those coming in on the raid with Professor Smacker, my name is Balint. I'm 1/3 of SciAnts streams. The other 2/3 are my wife, Lita, and our daughter, baby Alona, aka the Munchkin. Lita and I are research scientists, PhDs in molecular biology, and we do science content here on Twitch every heckin' day of the week. Today is one of our IRL streams. Otherwise, we look at stuff under the microscope, we do art, we play games, we do science news of the week, and more. But yeah, it's a unique IRL trip today, taking you all out and doing some science in real life. Now, these tide pools that we're checking out today, what's really phenomenal about them is there's a ton of different critters throughout these tide pools. So what we're looking for, the money shot, would be to find an octopus. So there are the Pacific ringed octopus out here. They're about 2 centimeters max in length, and that's who we're going to try to find. Now there's also, we've seen sea urchins, we've seen anemones, we've seen some crabs, there's fish swimming around, there's seaweed, but a lot of these ecosystems stick around like throughout the entire year here. So these tide pools represent integral parts of the ecosystem. Also really cool that y'all might find interesting is the geology side of things. We are at the bottom of the cliff, and guys, just take a look at the cliff itself. Do y'all see how it is just a straight shot down? So that's erosion at work. This cliff, these rocks don't just like gently, dust down, but rather they fall down. And so they are falling at a pretty reasonably fast rate, in part because the ocean, yes, but a huge part of it is due to human intervention. We are not good when it comes to keeping the ecosystem at bay. And so just everything's falling apart here. Guys, thank y'all for those follows as well. Make sure to hit the heart button, speaking of follow, on Professor Waffle Smacker. Waffle is one of the nicest, by the way, thank you for the resub, one of the nicest people we've met on Twitch. Games in Japan, moved over from the US, and I adore that gentleman. Professor Smacker, actually, I had you up on alert this morning before we left. He is a kind, honest, real-life person who I can't endorse highly enough. So please go drop him follow. Also, for the Waffles crew, Professor Smacker came in not too long ago and was like, hey, could you say something nice about me so I can prove to my wife that I'm cool? And I did, and he clipped it, and that is now our most viewed clip ever. Yeah. Well over 500 views on that clip. It has more views than my daughter's first standing up on stream. That shows you how cool he is. And on the sponsor page on Twitch, where it's recommended clips for sponsors, #1 recommended clip for our sponsors is recommending Waffle Smacker. All right, guys, let's take a close look at the tide pools here. These are a little bit more active, right? So these are where you can see the water is coming in and out from the ocean. So we're going to be seeing less stagnant life in these tide pools and more in and out kind of critters. So some fish might come in here. I will never delete the clip, Waffle Smacker. That has to live forever now. And if you get endorsements off that, then by Jove, I've done my job. But this little ecosystem here is one that comes in and out with the water. So there are some barnacles. There's actually some. We've got a hermit crab situation here. Actually, it looks like a bunch of them. Oh, check that out. So those are all a combo of sea snail and hermit crab. There's some right there on top of the rocks, but there's a bunch also inside. And if we zoom in, see, there you go. There's the water disrupted because the water, from the ocean is just straight up coming in. Y'all can see movement too. Eventually, whoop, did I lose track of the tide? I may have. This whole area will eventually be underwater. That's just from the tide. So high tide, low tide. So we came at it a good time. We're going to go ahead and continue on outward. See if we can find anything nestled in any of these smaller tide pools. We've got a bunch of the snails out here too. But the difficulty in finding the octopus, y'all, is that a lot of octopi that are in this area, they camouflage. So they have what are called chromatophores. Chromatophores are the cell types on the outside of the octopus body that allow them to blend in and change rapidly to their environment. Calcifer, heckin', belcifer, welcome on in. Breers, Kells, Bells, Kells, Madame, how was the stream? Tell me all the things. Kells Bells, y'all, is an incredible maker and crafter extraordinaire on her partner Push. Hopefully has heard very, very soon and will be soon unveiling that check mark for us. Kells, time is it? I guess it's around that time. Kells, my hope was to actually raid you today. I'm like, oh, we're finally be able to do an early stream and raid Kells. Y'all, Kells is besto friendo, maker and crafter extraordinaire, fish hat creator, yarn enthusiast, artiste, has incredible merchandise. Please check out all her merch. My daughter owns several of her items, as do I. Been making a mushroom guide noise. Kells, feel free to share anything and everything. The Raiders coming on in. We are at the San Diego Sunset Cliffs today. We're doing an IRL stream. I am at a conference in San Diego for work, but I snuck out to do some IRL streaming. We are at the Pacific Ocean, and we are looking at tide pools and talking about their ecology. For the Raiders, again, coming in, my name is Balint, 1/3 of SciAnts streams. Other 2/3 are my wife, Lita, and our daughter, baby Alona, aka the Munchkin. Lita and I are research scientists with our PhDs in molecular biology, and we do science content here on Twitch every day of the week. Today is an IRL day, but we also look at stuff under the microscope. We also do science games, science news, science art, all the things. So if you like that and you like science, hit that heart button. It's 12. That's why I checked Kells. I'm like, oh yeah, time zones. But still, Kells, like you go 12:30 Pacific, because then it still makes sense. To show you all the cliffs, by the way, I think this is always a really, really stunning view. Check this out, y'all. This is the side of the cliff. So there is a ton of erosion here, as you might imagine. Again, human induced, but just like look at how it is straight down. Look at how it's straight down. So this wall is just straight up falling. And so that is going backwards. And of course there's houses on top of the cliff. So eventually that's going to be gone. So we're talking a smidge about erosion. Before y'all came in, Kells, we are on the hunt for creatures in the tide pools. So tide pools are very important ecosystems. They are, these are examples of tide pools. And we're kind of looking through and seeing what little creatures we can find. Now, the money maker, the creme de la creme, would be to find an octopus. There are Pacific ringed octopi in these tide pools. Difficulty in identifying them is, number one, they are small, about 2 inches in length at max. They also camouflage with their chromatophores. So, the chances of us finding one are not high, but it would be really cool nonetheless. So far, we've found sea snails, we've found hermit crabs, we've seen a bunch of anemone, maybe one good example of a sea urchin, and a fish. A lot of these tide pools, y'all, the animals will be born, bred, live, die all in here. The jellyfish do. Oh yeah, there are jellyfish glued. They do have stingers and they will become silly pants. The octopi here, no, those are not stinging kind. These would be pretty friendly octopi if we end up finding one. Now, I will still not suggest me grabbing it. Also, y'all check out just the barnacle life. All the little barnacles. Yeah, and I'm sorry, y'all, in advance. I forgot my second phone where I keep to catch on here. Sorry. Pro streamer. No, I will not wear the octopus as a hat. But bigger deal is that my hands are not conditioned for handling the marine life. Like, there could be oils on my skin that could be damaging to the sea creatures. And so it just doesn't make sense to grab them because they might injure them.
You want me to? You got it.
Yeah. Y'all, Scully.
Slow on the uptake.
Scully is here with me. She gets to look at me walk around like a person with absolute no balance. I'm like, whoa.
Well, yesterday and the day before, I had no balance, but that's dysautonomia.
No seals yet. No seals. Just surfers.
And we would have sea lions.
There would be sea lions. Nice. There would be sea lions, y'all. Oh, Kel says, hi, you're a cutie.
No, you. No, us. I don't know how many crabby boys you've seen.
We saw like a really large pocket right over there, but they weren't like really out.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen any good
ones?
There
are a lot of little tiny guys. There's one here who might have just started to settle in, but he's about the size of a silver dollar, maybe. Right here.
Oh, I see the shell, yeah.
Of course, now he's not on the move. There are a few down here.
Oh, yeah. I see it by eye.
He's looking for his treasure.
There y'all go. So you see that shell right there? There we go. He's wiggling. I was wondering if La Jolla is still closed.
Officially, my money would be on yes, it's closed, because we've got the Marine Mammal Protection Act. So nobody's going to move them if they want to be there. The children's pool at La Jolla Cove has been the Sea Lions Cove for a long time. Which
Holy heck. And y'all, we just got a raid from Young Nails Inc. Raiders, welcome on in. How are y'all doing today? How was the show? Folks, if y'all don't know Young Nails Inc., Young Nails Inc. is, as the name suggests, they do nails, and they've got amazing products that you can purchase. And Lita and I have gotten stuff from them at every TwitchCon so far. Lita swears by their product. So guys, do go check them out. Raiders, welcome on in. My name is Balint, 1/3 of SciAnts streams. The other 2/3 are my wife, Lita, and our daughter, baby Alona, aka the Munchkin. Lita and I are research scientists with our PhDs in molecular biology, and we do science content here on Twitch every day of the week. Today, we are out in San Diego looking at some tide pools and talking about some tide pool ecology. We also look at stuff under the microscope. We do science art, science news, science games. Every heckin' day of the week, we're bringing you science content. We're also Twitch ambassadors, first and only of our kind, that do educational content. So guys, welcome in. We are again at the San Diego Sunset Cliffs, and just to show you that we are in fact at a cliff location, check that out, y'all. Thank you for those follows. Thank you, Miss Honey. She is my daughter is 2, and she is the Muncherino, the Munchkin. These are the cliffs. How do you follow? Great question. You hit that heart button and join us for an incredible adventure. Guys, let us know how the stream went. How were the nails? These are the cliffs. We're also joined today by one of our incredible moderators, Scully Redhawk. Scully has been telling us all about this cliff, and pretty much how that you can see the erosion pattern is just straight down. It's just rocks that straight up fall down the side of the cliff. Like it's a clean cut. It's being eroded away by the waves and the water that comes in during the higher tides. Which is really cool to see. We've also been checking out the tide pools for various creatures. So these are ecosystems that are maintained. Thank you, Young Nails. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for that raid. We've been looking at some of these tide pools. There's corals, there's seaweed, there's anemones, there's fish. We are looking, y'all, the moneymaker would be an octopus. There are small, about 2-inch wide ring Pacific octopi that hang out in the water. Yes, exactly. So the water will go ahead and continue to cover and clean up the area. Wildlife. So I actually live on the East Coast. I hang out here. I'm here on a conference in San Diego. We did an IRL trip to the Calvert Cliffs in Virginia. So that is up on our YouTube page. Lita and I do fossil hunting streams where we look for fossils that are upwards of 80 to 90 million years old. That's everywhere, ranging from New Jersey down to Florida. We've done fossil hunting. Thank y'all for all the follows as well for coming on in. Let me show y'all. We've got the ecosystems here. So this is a little bit more stable of an area. And again, you can see a lot of like the mosses, the anemones coming into this area. And here, there's the new tide that's just coming in. Are there octopi on the East Coast? So wildfire, there are some Atlantic octopi, but here on the West Coast, the Pacific octopi are the big known ones. And so that's in these tide pools. We could find one. they are not going to be easy to find because of size and because of camouflage. So they have a cell type called a chromatophore. Those chromatophores are independently connected from the brain, and so they respond at an extremely rapid rate to adapt to whatever environment that they're in. And so we probably will not find one, to be totally honest with you. And that's not me putting a damper on it. That's just the realism behind it. We came here, y'all, a couple of years ago for a TwitchCon, which was really, really fun. We came with one of our moderators in the chat, Yogurt Garrel, and Nerdawino, Celestial Beanart, and Thug Shells. Most precious memory from that day is Thug Shells almost getting washed away by the water. Luckily, her mods were here and they caught her midair as she was flying down. But yeah, so we're going to be extra careful and check out more of these tide pools. One thing y'all can see, just to give you an idea of how far up the water does end up going. So this particular zone here, what y'all can notice, all those little holes. So that's where some of these sea creatures actually bore into and wait for certain tides to come in. And we can actually see in some of them, there's all these little sea slugs with their shells still on. Guys, thank y'all for all the follows coming in. We may have actually crossed our follow goal and hit 14K today. Thank y'all so much. We've got some barnacles here as well. Some of them, if we were to scrape off the edges, we'd find the little creatures inside. Some of them you can see have opened up and they've already popped out. But some of these, like really close looking in here, we've got those sea slugs. Yeah, so Zoom Val Kilman, these are very, very unique to Pacific shoreline ecosystems. So these tide pools, super, super unique in terms of what's living there, and even the switch sometimes between salinity. So one thing that I find really interesting about the creatures that live in here is their adaptability. So you can imagine if you're stuck, let's say, in this puddle of water. Hi, Tatum. Guys, check out this puddle of water, right? You never thought you'd come into a Twitch stream where the host is excited about a puddle of water. But we're gonna adjust so that my shadow isn't casting. If we look in here, we've got a beautiful anemone. Look at that. A beautiful anemone in here, the really big one with the blues, and then we've got some smaller ones up here at the top as well. Call me Kelp, welcome in. Thank you for being here. And so you can imagine a situation where it's going to rain here, right? And if it rains, you're going to change the concentration of salt. So these animals need to be able to survive a varying degree of salt concentration. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to survive, right? Yeah, all kinds of anemones here we've got. So yeah, apologies, y'all. I get excited over puddles of water. And yeah, as chat mentioned, there's really nothing like this in terms of the vast biodiversity on the East Coast. Not that there aren't tide pools, but you even check out the range in here. So we've got another relatively large anemone. We've got a bunch here on the side, right? And then, as we're peeking on in here, I did see some activity. Wait, is the Kanubitu King here? Hi, the Kanubitu King. Guys, can we get a shout out for Bitly the Kid? So that, y'all, is not a rock, but that is a sponge that I was trying to pop up. Why was I trying to get to pop it up? Because I thought it was a rock and I saw a little creature hang out underneath it. But no, that is a sponge. So let's go ahead and try it. Oh, and we've got the crab right there. All right, so the crab now is visible. There he is. He's between those two rocks. There he goes. The crab people. The sponges. Like that corn. Yeah, check out the coloration. That's a good. So this guy right here. Thank you, Kilman. My goal is to bring y'all out here one more time before I have to head back to the East Coast. To the Scripts of Carrot, I will not have time for that. Unfortunately, Miss Art Rules. I am still running a conference. See what else we can find in here. So we've got actually a couple of other crabs down there that were covered by that rock. We will put the rock back. I was just giving y'all a little look on what the ecosystem looks like. So there's a couple of more crabs in there. Oh, there he is. There's the big one coming out. Oh, there's a bunch coming out. Y'all, and we have a fish. We have a fish, y'all. Right in the center of the view right now, you have a fish. He's particular to these tide pool ecosystems. And then we've got several crabs in here as well. You can see that one there too. Exactly the kind of Kanubitu King. Yeah, we have fish, crabs. We've got an anemone in here. And honestly, y'all, I see some wiggling going on deeper within. Like, see that little rod that's wiggling? It looks like there's a bunch of additional crabs in there, but there could very well be other sea creatures in there that we're just not going to be able to see unless I continue to disturb their habitat, which I'm not going to do. And there we go. We've recovered their home. All right, y'all. I think Scully found something.
Many fish.
Ooh, we saw a couple of fish and really camouflaged crabs.
Quite a lot of anemone. There are a lot in this pocket I could lift. Just in case there's more than a fish there, I want to be careful to lay it back down where it started. Trying to be careful not to step on anything that's attached. We'll see how big this rock is if I can move it. Maybe this one.
Duke, thank you for those biddies. Look at those. Split second, y'all. There was a little fish.
There's a crab.
Oh, yeah, there's a crab underneath.
too. Thank you all for those follows, by the way. Welcome on in.
More anemone.
Even up close, y'all, like the anemones and the urchins as well. Just check out this, y'all. So this is the response of the anemones. So you see how it immediately closes? Immediate closure to have tactile stimulation.
Itty bitty crab.
They're really nicely camouflaged, the crabs.
All different colors.
Let me show you all the responses of another set of these.
Yeah, do you want me to reach one of this, the larger one here?
Are you sure? All right, guys. Scully is going to reach.
I'll just brush the side. It looks like it's got lunch ready to go so the water clears out.
Look at that, y'all. That rapid response. And what's really wild, y'all, is that they don't actually have neurons, right? So these are all what are, like, if they were stinging, they're called nematocysts. These don't end up actually stinging. These just end up, they're just responding to the environment and like pulling in what would be prey. And so that rapid response that you're seeing there is from a very proto-like nervous system. And there's actually a lot of debate whether it's even a real nervous system. Yeah, they are responding to stimuli, so you can make the argument that maybe there's something, but again, there's no central body, so there's no brain considered here.
I don't know if they can tell from where you are, but it already has something grabbed here when I was talking about lunch.
Yeah, so y'all see where Scully was just pointing to that upper region? There's already something being grabbed there. Yep, so these are animals. Yeah, there's a little bit like the mechanism proposed is similar to the Venus flytrap, except they don't have just like an opening like for a mouth. It's just they're responding. There's a lot of these sensory cells all on each of those little tentacles. And then it's just curling in and pulling in a potential prey item. What's really cool is the salt actually acts as part of that signaling molecule. So one of the reasons why they can't survive in freshwater is because they actually have hijacked some of those chemicals like the salts. So we use salt, sodium, and potassium for our neurons to signal. And instead of using like homemade salts in their bodies, they use the stuff that is around them in the water. So it's one of the reasons why if you take them out and put them in fresh water, they're also not going to be able to survive because you take out the signaling molecule.
I just keep watching to see if there's anything that is not a fish that is as big
There
as I can
is
see.
On that side.
There are a few crabs.
Yeah, there's a crab on that side, and there's a fish like was ever precariously getting near it.
There's about at least a dozen little fish, little bottom feeder types.
Just want a nice view for y'all too of where we're hanging. A little bit bigger for these. This one you can see is like a direct connection to the ocean, but as the tide rescends, it'll also like stay put. Kind of get an idea of how high the water is going to be coming to because there's still parts that are wet along the rocks. Show y'all another one of these. This is the one that we were looking at a few minutes ago, just at a different angle. There's again those anemones that they'll be the same that we were touching a minute ago with that rapid response. We've also got, any guesses, chat? No, Dakin was asking for some seafood. Dakin, we got some mussels here. Not opened. They are hanging out inside of it, but there are a ton of mussels in this little tide pool. But here is a nice look for y'all. And if we take a look at those. All of those little black spots are mussels that we've got here. Gully has left us, y'all. They're tasty, absolutely. Although I would, go out and argue that most things are delicious with mussels, or not with mussels, with garlic. Also for mods, if we haven't shouted out Mr. Irish, could y'all get him one? And Kimmy DNC and Nerduino, please. It's been awesome. Thank you. Kimmy has been done. Awesome. And can we get one for McDoodle too? MCD00LE, musical friend extraordinaire. Oh, and Michelle's too. I'm so demanding, y'all. I'm so much easier when it's just like I have my second phone on me. So again, these inlets here, the water is going to be coming back and forth. So we're not going to necessarily see anything of the more permanent variety, just very transient. But it does look like out there in that area, we've got some tide pool-esque rocks that we should check on out. Also, y'all, a nice view of the cliffs here. Gamey with the Rupert Murdoch emote. Bit gamey. So he's the kind of B2 King, folks. We've got a really pretty example, y'all, of just like what the water erosion can end up doing as well. Like the split between the two rocks is just the water flowing here. Too fast flowing for anything to be just like regularly hanging out within this zone, but maybe a little bit further up and downstream of it.
I'll put this back because we don't want to take anything from the beach.
Oh, cool. Totally intact too.
Sorry, someone else will pick it up and take it home, but
yeah, y'all, there is a zero impact policy when you're looking up at the beach, meaning don't leave anything and don't take anything.
We even cheat and put this a little farther into the water
to ensure it's not going to be taken
in case somebody else needs to have
it. Yeah. That's the thing too, y'all. We've watched videos on this of like even hermit crabs and how they end up changing homes, and there's a conga line basically, but there is a shortage of hermit crab homes, much like regular people homes. And unfortunately, you'll see like in that video game, Another Crab's Treasure, where their homes are made of plastic and other unsavory things. What aren't unsavory, though, look at that, y'all. Speak of the devil, we have some hermit crabs. Do have some lovely, lovely, lovely hermit crabs in here. This is another one of those like heavily shelled areas. Exactly, Barnesdale. See, Barnesdale, you understand thoroughly. Bunch more here as well. Bit of both, Bitly, actually, per the website description. National park because it is, I don't know if it's state. I think it might only be a state park, BitGamey, but it's considered a natural park because this is not, the only human trails here made, BitGamey, are the stairs that go down, which is right over here. Everything else, there's like nothing actually man-made, so that's why it's actually called a natural park. Which is also just kind of neat in terms of like the naming system of it. I don't know like what that corresponds to with respect to how it's classified anything else on the federal or state level, but I'm sure there's some kind of additional classification thing there. But I don't remember if it's state or national or both. I think it's only state. See, oh look at this, y'all! Oh, it's so cool. No, that's an important question, right? Because that could very well have been a typo in the other direction of like, well, what's a natural park? And that's a good talking point of just like what exactly are natural parks and what's the meaning of it. All right, so y'all want to see something cool? Any guesses as to what these are here? That and that and that. What are these? Close. Those are the anemones that we saw earlier. Those are those same anemones, but you can see they're covered with little tiny shells, and they've actually, that's their prey. So the way I'm going to prove that to you, because as we've talked about, question everything, is if you zoom in from right there, you can see little tentacles right on there. Those are those same little tentacles that we were seeing earlier that were responding to stimuli. Here, they've just responded entirely because they're covered with this debris. Are there starfish? There, in looking at what the coastal ecology is, there was a hypothesis presented. I'm going to say that loosely, Christy, that there are some opportunities to see starfish, but those are not really dense in terms of the population. What you should do, though, Christy, is follow Celestial Beanard, who just popped in the chat. Celestial Bean is here in his house. She actually is the one who introduced me to this location 3 years ago. So y'all follow, please, the lovely Celestial Bean. From the beach shop, so Wildfire, those hermit crabs that are in the beach shops are, this is going to be a sadness. Oh yeah, sea stars, that's right. That's right. Good catch, Lara. This will be a hit of sadness, but those are highly abused animals, ripped out of their ecosystems. They aren't given shells to move into that are bigger in size when they need, so they usually end up dying in captivity. They are all harvested from the ocean, and it actually is a really, really degrading form of the ecosystem. So like the biodiversity ends up being plummeted because you have people going in and stealing all the hermit crabs who end up like processing a lot of the algae and the bacteria. And when you just remove them all, then it causes there to be significant impacts on the ecosystem. Would it be worth it? Sometimes. So unfortunately, Chrissy, some of those shells actually are processed in plastics. So they put a plastic film around it. And the reason for that is because it gives it a nice little sheen. Those plastics have been demonstrated to interfere with the crab's ability to move in. Not just that, you are then contributing to the microplastic problem in the ocean. And so you can imagine a little crab, if he scratches a little bit on that shell, it's going to release those plastics. And because he's constantly growing and developing, from a developmental biology perspective, they'll incorporate some of the microplastics into their bodies. And there hasn't been a definitive study to show that it affects lifespan in crabs, but it has been shown in fruit flies, which I recognize are different. But, you know, if it affects one, who's to say it won't affect the other? We've got some populations of anemones around here as well. This isn't really like a nice tide pool area for this part, but I just thought it was pretty to come look at. And again, just a nice little something for y'all to look back on the cliffs. I just think it's really, really pretty, this view. If y'all are up for it, either tomorrow or Saturday, we can come back out here again. Tomorrow, I believe, or Saturday, I need to double check my conference schedule. I believe I have a gap in the afternoon, so we can actually do a little compare and contrast the ecosystems at different parts of the day. So y'all can look back at this video and then compare it to tomorrow's or the next day's and just see like how different there might be. I have never been to Oregon. Chrissy. Not for not wanting to go, just never had the opportunity. There was a hot second where we were interviewing in a lab in Texas, and the guy was thinking about taking a job in Portland. And it turned out, actually, I saw him at this conference, and he's like, yeah, I never took it. That was all a scam. Like, all right, I gotcha. I do not miss Art Rules having the tide app. I don't even know what that is. I assume it tells me the tide, but Dan, this is San Diego. We are on the San Diego Sunset Cliffs currently, looking at some tide pool biology and ecology, I suppose. Also, moderators, if we can shout out Ultrasaurus. Ultrasaurus is going to be our next Woman in STEM guest. Next Tuesday, we will be chatting fish conservation, fish ecology, and it'll be on the front page of Twitch. So do go check out our friend Ultra. And if y'all missed any of our Women in STEM series, that is all going to be on our YouTube page. We've got 2 episodes up, and there's also, in a different format, the podcast, where you can listen to it in audio form. Let's say you're going on a run. Let's say you're at the gym. Let's say you're driving, and you'd like to listen to some incredible women in STEM and their journeys in science. You can drop them that follow as well, but also check out the podcast and listen to it. Ooh, we've got a great series of barnacles here, y'all. These are mostly open, it looks like, but they've got a really, really cool structure. Check those out, y'all. Super, super neat. So these are primarily built up when there is a low tide and the animals need to be kept moist. So there's a lot of water built in for them, and then when the tide comes up, they open up and they can go to a different location. Why do they need to move around? Food scarcity. Everything out here is either eat or be eaten. So a lot of the selective pressures that you end up seeing out here are due to one of those two. They do, right? They are like mini volcanoes. And the height, Laura, indicates how much water they are able to piece in. The more they're able to put in, the longer they can hang out in there. There are some like almost sinkhole-like structures there and there. So there's actually a bunch that are fenced off here in the park because there's some on like highly trafficked walking areas and you will go straight down. I would be very curious to see what's living in there, but we are not going to be able to hang out. Wildfire, thank you for joining us. Thank y'all everybody for joining us today, for all the follows coming on in. We will actually be live again tonight. We're not ending right now, don't worry. We'll be live again tonight. Lita is manning the stream from back home, and we're going to be doing some soil science tonight, chatting about testing soils for different kinds of pHs, different types of acidity, and how that corresponds to growing conditions. We're actually going to compare the commercial kit to what the USDA report said. So you get to see just how accurate the at-home testing kits are, or if you send it to an official lab, like what's the compare contrast between the two. And just full disclosure, we already have the USDA results. So the at-home test will be either a validation or a challenge. Got some seagulls here. Y'all, thank you again for coming out with me today. I know this is a pop-up stream. I hope y'all are enjoying it. I'm having an absolute blast being out here. This is a very special treat for me. There's nothing really like this back home. And so being able to take y'all out here, talking some tide pool ecology, some cool biological facts. It's been a lot of fun. I hope y'all have also been enjoying it. There are. So, hello, Mrs. Spates. Jay, you see here, the side of the cliff is just straight down. So there is a huge erosion problem. But this isn't your typical erosion like sand erosion where it's just like constantly like pulling back the soil. It is these rocks are falling down just straight, like vertical drops of these rocks. And there are locations that are kind of fenced off. Like, I don't know if you can see right up there. That is a zone that's fenced off. That's considered to be a very weak zone. And that area is going to fall at pretty much any moment. And so this whole area is probably going to be gone in like 50 years. There's one house like on this side up at the top. I think maybe y'all can see with the palm trees. And the other house is on the other side of the road that we were seeing driving along. But yeah, those, like they are falling off. And the rate of the erosion is in part dictated by the number of people coming here. So humans are causing to the erosion, especially if they're just like, cracking off along with it. But also the water too. And I don't, Jay, for bringing back like sand, they already ship sand here to these environments because there is sand erosion as well, but you can't fix rock falling off. Like this is just sandstone right here that's just coming straight down. And again, the issue with that is like you can't do anything to maintain it. Like you can't just throw on glue. And yeah, Dukasoft, I feel like you would absolutely have a field day here with the drone footage. The water, so a lot of it, Chrissy, if I show you, I think if we go back the other direction, there's some flowing water, and what you can actually see in the rock is how it's so smooth where the water is flowing. And so the water is just getting in and causing
there to be that crack, and it's just so reliably constantly happening that you have that plus weight going down on it, stuff just comes apart. And that's why the cuts too, when it falls, are so clean. It's not just like a random smattering, it's like that straight vertical cut, because it's using the natural fissures of the rocks. We've got some seagulls. Looks like we've got a few immature ones as well. The darker brown color compared to the white. Not even gorilla glue big game. The kind of B2 king. So this would be a really fun tide pool to go dig into. Y'all see there's a bunch of rocks, so a lot of like stationary area. Even though the water's coming in and out, there's going to be a lot of sea creatures that can live underneath those rocks. This, based on my online searches, this is the kind of zone that we want to look for one of the octopi. So it's fairly big. There's direct ocean access, but they can hide underneath the rocks and basically hide away from the waves. Hi, wildcats. See, wildcats just validated. It's just really, really, really pretty, y'all. Like, I am obviously not attired for jumping in the water. It'll be fun. We're kind of getting away from the tide pool zones. This is much more just like the natural rock outcropping. Oh, but here, Chrissy, do you see these like very, very long cracks? This is real. I know it doesn't look real, but I 100% it is real. If it wasn't real, I'd be much prettier. The AI would make me look far nicer. No, Scully's right over there. Scully's here. Scully's somewhere around here. I can't actually see now from this angle, but yeah, no, this is 100% real. No, Sir Grunge, don't you lie, Sir Grunge. Thought I was playing a game. No. This is real life. We do science content here, and I like to take y'all out right to the science and talk some, science of whatever we're looking at. So, Chrissy, these two are separated by this water source, right? You can see how clean the cut is. Now, obviously, this would have fallen ages ago, but the flowing water that goes whenever the water comes up and flows downward, that's what caused the break here, and like the constant deepening of those fissures. So that's a little bit of what you're going to be seeing on the side of the cliff as well. If you really enjoy science, and you're in the right place. We do science content on the daily. I don't always take y'all to the San Diego cliffs, primarily because I don't live on the West Coast, but the IRL streaming that we do is usually really fun. We do museums, we do fossil hunting, aquariums, zoos, anything to really get you close to some flavor of science. And it's my honor and privilege, well, both mine and Lita's, to be Twitch ambassadors and advocate for science and education here on this platform that's known for gaming. But I am convinced that we are leading a resolution and a movement to bring education to the forefront of this platform. We've got a lot of experts in their respective fields on the platform that have training in their background. Nerduino, NASA scientist, paleontologist, rocket sage geologist, Curly, applied mathematician, Ultrasaurus, bioethicist. We've got a huge, incredible variety of experts on the platform. We've got game developers out the wazoo that are kind, welcoming, will answer your questions, will want you to get into game dev. For example, BitGamey, the Kano B2 King. Hi, Freshie. Answer all your questions about Unity. And if he doesn't know, he'll tell you straight up, I don't know, but here's a resource to go look. Irish John, same thing. Clayman Dev, Bardaki. We got Unity game devs, like I said, Unreal game devs, Godot game devs. Y'all name it. Maurice! So truly, if anyone is interested in learning, this is the community to be part of. We have educators out the wazoo and experts in their field, and even those who will claim that they are not experts, but have the experience to answer your questions. So again, if you want to learn, if you want to be part of an incredible community, this is the place to hit that heart button. Especially Barnesdale, we have incredible community members, and I guarantee you're an expert in something. Everyone is an expert in something. I guarantee you're miles better at many things that I am terrible at. For example, I'm not very good at video games. No, I love video games. I'm not good at them, but I love them. Also, if you want to learn about tiny worlds, tiny foods with giant love, there's corn relish. For example, tiny art, tiny cooking. That's chemistry and art together. Mortgage, see, I don't know anything about that. I have a mortgage. But beyond that, I know nothing. And Melissa, it's not probably not just enough. Like, oh yeah, I pay a mortgage. Yeah. Let's see if I can show y'all some more cool biology. Oh no, so Jay, the guy who we have a restraining order against is here. That's a thing and a half. I have hotel security walk with me to various places. Yeah, that's uncomfortable. That's a barrel of stress I didn't need to unlock. Ooh, thank you, Lara. We'll see if I'm able to sneak out. I've got another morning and an afternoon possibly to be able to take y'all out because it's a conference and a public space. Yeah, Corn. Can he talk to me? No. I did. I gave my talk yesterday, Sir Grunge, but I'm primarily a conference organizer and like putting on a lot of events. Like I've got events, Sir Grunge,
this afternoon that I'm running, and this evening, but most of my things that I was running was yesterday. It is, Jay, and there's Scully. There's Scully Redhawk. Scullylicious. You can call me Al. Actually, Corn, I've always thought the the best kind of bodyguard, for that follow, would be a gigantic, intimidating gentleman by the name of Betty. I don't know why, but that image in my mind just feels far too perfect. Like, no one's gonna mess with a giant dude named Betty. It's like, Betty will rip limb from limb. So I'm trying to find y'all another one of these anemones. We've got a couple, but they're, because of how deep we are in the tide pools, they're already like kind of surrounded in terms of their prey. So like right there is one. Tiny yogurt. Yeah, a yogurt Garrow would rip people limb from limb, yogurt. I would have no fear by you being next to me. Guys, Yogurt Garrow, another shout out for yogurt, please, has been my wing woman for every TwitchCon, and I guarantee y'all I would not be where I am at today without Yogurt Garrow. That woman is so selfless, and she will like happily promote me when she is a Twitch streamer, you know, that I want her to be Twitch partner, and she's just like, oh, let me tell you about SciAnts. I'm like, no, let me tell you about yogurt. And she's like, all right, fine. And then she just runs off and starts telling people about SciAnts, and then I have to run off telling people about yogurt, and at the end of the day, it's just a constant battle of who's going to promote the other one who. That's a beautiful heckin' friendship right there. And that goes for many of y'all. Like, I guarantee you, I tell y'all this every stream, we would not be here without this community. So many of y'all fight aggressively for us and support us in any way that you can, and truly, we are extremely grateful to each of y'all. There is no dream without you. There's no affiliate, partner, ambassador, phase 4 dream, none of it without y'all. So truly, thank you guys. Let's see this zone a little here, and if not, I think we'll walk back to the other area because there were a lot of neat creatures in those tide pools. Again, for those coming on in, because Danny, oh, thank you. Professor Anduza, y'all, Danny believed in us when we were just a small stream with a phone camera and looking at some ants, telling y'all about ant biology, and he decided he would raid over, and I'm like, I asked him to this day, I'm like, Danny, the production quality was so terrible, sir. And he's like, yeah, but y'all were experts sharing your knowledge of your field. Like, that's what he believed in. I'm like, oh, Danny. Christy, I don't remember what those are. There's some of the Nightbot commands are mod only, but most of those Nightbot commands that trigger like text wall is for everyone to use regardless of substatus. Any of the alerts that we usually have on today, y'all, are off because I'm not connected to the PC. But for those curious, we do have a lot of absurd number of custom commands and animations that we've made here on stream to kind of get folks excited about the sciences, with lots more coming as well. Lots more coming. The kind of B2 King taught me about a very special kind of redeem that I'm cooking up now in my head. There go the shoes. All right, y'all. Well, there go the shoes. I will always blame you. The kind of B2 King bit game is very unclean. Luckily, Queen Bean, I have no intention of jumping in, even though my shoes just flooded. Lots of rain. Yeah, so we were talking a little bit about that with respect to the tide pools. So the tide pool biology is really cool because those animals need to be able to survive different concentrations of salt, to where they've got high levels of salt if it's just like the ocean coming up, and low levels of salt if there's a lot of rainwater that comes in. And that adaptability is critical. Now, that low salt level is not something that they're able to maintain for a long time, which is why if you transfer them into Black Lady Cat, thank you for the resub. Thank you very much. We're going to continue on this way, get y'all some signal back. But yeah, the organisms, if you use the salts in the ocean as like secondary messenger molecules for their proto-nervous system. Here is some of the geological strata. Looks like the signal isn't very good. Yep, go back out. Sorry, folks. Looks like right next to the cliff, the signal is quite poor. So can't show y'all up close, but you can take a look from here as well. Muddies, can I tell you a secret? And it'll be fair that you're mad at me. I don't have any water with me. Set in low bit rate. I don't have any water with me. I do have water back at the hotel, and I will hydrate the heck when we return. Some fossils? I wonder. Sunscreen? What are y'all talking about? I've been indoors all winter. Yogurt. Let's check out some of the tide pools back over here. Maurice, I need some color. Morris right now is like, are you kidding me right now? You just tell me that you need color? Do you not recognize how skin cancer works? I mean, I do. Does Lita tell me the same thing? Yes. Morris, in my defense, okay, so Morris, here's the thing. I was not planning on doing some IRL streams from the beach because it was like, well, you have to be at this conference and doing all this kind of stuff from like 8:30, 8 a.m. to 10, 11, 12 p.m. or a.m. I guess, right? For the 12. But then you get here, I'm like, oh, do y'all mind if I go on a walk for a couple of hours?
Oh yeah, sure, go for it. All right, well, it was Laura. Laura, I was at the conference yesterday, and someone's like, "Oh, did you go outside? You look like you have some color." Like, y'all in a room full of scientists, it looks like anyone has some color if you sit in the sun for 10 minutes. Yeah, this is where we came to look at the barnacles a minute ago. We've got some of the anemones here as well, but none of like the really intense tide pools. Those are back up in that direction, so we're gonna head back there in a little bit, and then probably not too long I'll need to get back to the conference as well. But we can stay out for at least another 30 minutes, I think. Again, thank y'all for coming out today. I hope you've been enjoying the IRL excursion. Again, plan being to come out again. If I'm feeling really zesty, we might do it twice. And I know it'll be like some repeat stuff if we do it more days back to back. But, you know, I'm not really on the West Coast often at all. So, yeah, I know. Oh yeah, you sound really excited. Also, check out the algae. I don't know if y'all can tell, but like the really super green here. So those algal growths are kept under control by the sea urchins. So without the urchins, you'd have a lot more. The reason there's so much more out here, y'all see how quickly the water's moving in that area. So that rapid water movement is what actually keeps the urchins from being stable in that zone. And that's why you see an increase in the green. So you're seeing a bunch of like microenvironments, community tea time. Yeah, it's something, all right. It's the Drosophila genetics console. Usually ends up happening is people are very adamant for like the first day and a half of going to every session, and then everyone kind of gets burnt out, and then they go do other stuff. Do y'all want to head down a little bit more this way? Polly has gone off that way. We have not examined that zone. This is where we came from that had like the minimal type. Yeah, go ahead off in the new direction. Hi, Feline. Feline, are you still streaming? Guys, go follow Feline Fancy. Thank you for that follow. Go follow Queen Feline, an incredible gamer extraordinaire in the genres of Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, detective games, the occasional spooky game. And if you type !Feline, it'll bring up her throne page. You can purchase all things for her, like snackage and clothing and plushies and more. And if we get her to 1,000 followers before the end of April, she said she will do a DDR stream where she will be dancing. So if you want to see Queen Feline Fancy dance, drop her that follow. Let's get her up to 1K. All right. Actually, as I'm looking here, just curious, because these look like they're kind of stagnant, but it's like really how stagnant are they enough to cultivate some meaningful life? Not so much, I think. I think we got to move further down. These look like the water just receded and it's active enough where they're not going to have your little tide pool environment. At least not in this zone here. See, look, Feline's she's not arguing the possibility of doing 1,000 DDR stream. Thank you, Dukasoft. Right there, y'all, that is the microenvironment. So even though the whole zone around it is just the algal growth, this one here has actually a bunch of activity in this little zone. You've got a couple of anemones. You've got a crab zoning in there. Yeah, y'all, Feline did not deny it. She said it was a push, for that 1K before the end of April, but y'all will see Feline Fancy dancing. I've never seen her on a DDR pad before, but I'm looking forward to it. There are a lot of puppies out here today. Again, examining the different areas. If there's anything that looks like it would be a good tide pool. Again, this looks like it's pretty active in terms of the waves. I believe it was sourdough. It was sourdough bread. Well, it's not making up lore, Morty. It's 100% factual. No declining by Feline. I would love one corn. 2 weeks? Actually, that would be much faster, Corn Relish. What, we're 6 hours away from you? Yeah, she's wrong, Muddy. It's okay, though. Looks like, y'all, we've got some pools in this area running down from up here from the algae. See, there's enough running. I know, Morris. I know, but we just gotta keep going with it. This is more stagnant of a zone, but you can see there's an absurd amount of seaweed, and there's a lot of bugs just all over it, because at this point, it's just rotting. It's kind of neat to look over this area here. The drying out all the bugs to it, and it's just, as it's drying, it's also not drying fast enough because it's stacked, and that stack is what causes it to end up rotting. It's about 15 minutes, Jay, from where we were staying. The city itself is quite large, but yeah, it's not far away at all from the hotel. The hotel's primary attraction is a shopping mall, and I figured, honestly, Mr. Spites, that y'all would not much care for a shopping mall. Care for a shopping mall? Unless it's like one of those, like, a unique spread of antiques that you never end up seeing. Yes, so Jay, Morris was telling us that too, that there was just a bunch of rain they had, and so the water here, because it's considered especially dirty. Shopping malls, I don't see that. I feel like is more of a social science, like
psychology. By Horton Plaza, I have no idea. I am wherever the Uber took me. Having a sense of surroundings is not my strong suit. Hello, Doc. Hello, Dizzle. How's it going? When do you hear back about your application? Sicky, I'm sorry, Loda. Straight tracks. Welcome in. Mostly peaceful, except with me running from water. Pool finds?
Really?
Oh no, trash.
Just beach pickup. Honestly, I usually bring a bag with me, but it's not too bad right here. People don't come here to, hang out with their family or I don't know what, listen to the game. So I found exactly one bottle cap.
Luckily.
A little bit more glass, but it's either washed out or people picked up after themselves.
Yeah, hopefully it's the latter.
Hopefully. We know some of it is the latter.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna walk back a little that way and check out the tide pools one more time.
Sure. Yeah, I was watching the swells come in to see if maybe something would wash over again, but on that outcropping there, I figured the gulls probably picked it off pretty good before we got to it.
Yeah, still though, there's been a lot of cool
so we
stuff.
might catch something if enough swells came over the top.
All the more reason to come back another day.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, here y'all go. There's another good look at the anemone. We're talking about the rapid response of these. So you can see all the little tentacles there. And if I touch them, so it's that response to stimulus. The response is them basically curling in to identify what might be a food source. Doesn't hurt. You see they've already collected a bunch, and these are resetting here. These are non-responsive because they're in the period of reset. Yeah, let's take a look at the tide pools that we started at one more time, and then we will probably round that for today because I'll need to go back to the conference. Teasing, no, only in the kindest way. Moose's Refuge.
Were you over here before? Did you catch the caves?
The which?
Straight ahead, the caves under the cliffs that are wearing out.
Oh, I can't see them, but I'll try to show. Raiders, welcome on in. Moose Rev, how are you doing? How was the stream? What were y'all up to today? Raiders, welcome in. My name is Balint, 1/3 of SciAnts streams. Other 2/3 are my wife Lita and our daughter baby Alona, aka the Munchkin. Lita and I are research scientists, PhDs in molecular biology. We do science content here on Twitch every day of the week. Microscopy, art, sci-fi science, science news of the week, deep dives into scientific topics, games, 3D printing, IRL streams,
and more.
Model building, and more. Welcome on in, you guys. Today we are out at the San Diego Sunset Cliffs looking at some tide pool ecology and biology. Great to have y'all here. Welcome on in. Normally I'm on the East Coast, but I'm here on a conference. Decided to come on out here and show y'all some cool stuff. And Biddy Diddy also welcome on in. We got a double raid. Great to have y'all here. Welcome on in, Biddy Diddy. Again, I will change the camera for this part of the spiel. My name is Balint, 1/3 of SciAnts streams. Other 2/3 are my wife Lita and our daughter baby Alona. Lita and I are research scientists, PhDs in molecular biology, and we do science content here on Twitch every day of the week. Today we're out at the Sunset Cliffs in San Diego talking some tide pool science. And Scully, our moderator extraordinaire, is with me, and she just pointed out these are some caves way off in the distance. I don't know how well y'all can see them, but that have been worn into. And so actually some folks will go in here and kayak on in and hang out right in there. Not safe, but some people do that. So guys, welcome on in. We're gonna go back and take another look at the tide pools, and then I gotta get back to the con. But that was really cool. Yeah, Scully was telling me earlier, y'all folks go in there in those caves, though it's ill-advised because of the erosion. It might drop at any moment.
Mm-hmm. Kayaks and things like that.
It does look cool though.
Those haven't gone all the way through. I've lost track. I think Smuggler's Cove is that way, but Smuggler's Cove had a bunch of erosion tunnels, whatnot.
Oh, you're 15 minutes away? Well, we're glad to be able to take you out on the beach. We're going to be back either 1 or 2 more times, maybe, possibly, depending on conference schedule stuff. But I hope y'all have enjoyed the trip. Also, 60 Jesus, welcome the heck on in. Mr. Jesus, how's Trey doing? I have not. I have extremely little time. I'm here for a work conference, and so we've got barely any time to really go out and explore. I'm running several events. We had a bunch of events yesterday, and I've got events up through Saturday night, and I fly back first thing Sunday morning. Any new mutants worth remembering? Mrs. Spites. I do have stuff written down. Last night was the keynote, just the introductory one, and this morning there were some sessions, but I've been here with y'all. What's nice is there's an online conference app, and I can see all the abstracts and interesting summary findings. There's a bunch of posters as well. So we'll take a look and see if there's anything super exciting. I did see some new talks on parasitoid science, so parasitic wasps and how they affect the behavior of their hosts. I thought that was really cool, but that's a personal bias on me. And I connected with a couple of people. I don't know if y'all remember the science that we've chatted about the undiagnosed or orphan disease network, where there's kids and they have some kind of genetic ailment, but no one knows what it is because it's only 2 kids a year. And so this institution goes and sequences the gene, figures out which one's the mutant, puts it in a fruit fly, figures out what it does, and helps the patients. So I found one of the big members from that, and they would love to come on stream and talk to us. So we're going to pull on a couple of other scientists, Jay, that I'm reconnecting with at the conference to come chat with y'all about, like, firsthand about the stuff that they do. So I'm on the lookout for that. Crash your laptop. I'm sorry, Mace. Usually it's the other way around. Usually it's y'all that crash the stream, not me crashing your computer. And then go back and check out the tide pools again. Yeah, so Jay, there's also another guy I reconnected with. He's an old friend who, funny enough, was on the plane heading to this conference, the plane that I was taking. He's actually taking the same flight back as well to Philly. And he does a bunch of neuroscience with lasers. And he also would be very interested in coming on. So we're heading back to the tide pool. And y'all, just to ensure I don't lose you guys, I'm gonna plug the phone in, and the remote charger is in place. Audio is going to go away for a sec. Audio should be back. Here we go. I just have the charger in for y'all so we don't lose you. These are the tide pools that we were looking at when we started with. As Scully mentioned, there will be seagulls and other birds in the area that will have probably eaten away a lot of these things. Y'all can see we do have some fish there zipping around in these little ecosystems. There's a bunch of the mussels again, so this entire zone. And those are critical because they filter a lot of the water that comes up here. And if you look, got a ton more there. There is, Jay, yeah, there's definitely a noticeable difference. It's warmer, and so that makes the ecology a little bit different. You can also tell the tide pools that are like true tide pools because of what's all living there. So like here, this is where we're seeing the mussels. Those were not in the other areas we were just looking at because the water is just moving too quickly, right? And so it kind of gives you an idea of like, all right, which ones are like the true ecosystems. Like you have to have like some of these animals that are going to be present that tells you, okay, there isn't a lot of turnover here. This is a good place to look for the tide pool critters. And like, you know, some of these too, we've got the presence of like some sea anemones. We've got a ton of these guys. So these are sea snails, and all of these, all over all those little dots, y'all, those are not holes. Those are these sea snails. Those also do a bunch of the filter feeding in this area and make it so that other creatures can live here. So all those, again, little dots are not just like little nooks and holes in the stone. They are actually little creatures living there. They're really, really pretty sight to be able to see. And again, the rock layers also show you all the geology of the area, about why it's so easily eroded, because again, it's just parts that are just falling off to the side. It's not something that we can just maintain by hand. It's just like the water ends up like cracking and causing fissures. And yeah, the one thing, y'all, that we've been really looking for has been an octopus, but I was telling y'all a lot of caveats as to why we probably wouldn't find one. But there are about 1 to 2 centimeters in length some octopi that hang out in these tide pools. Pacific spotted octopus.
I don't see anybody new.
Yeah, it was still cool to see like all the snails up at the top.
Right?
They're just like the difference in like this ecosystem versus just like, I don't even know, that's not that far away.
No.
Probably were 400 yards or something. It's like super, super close. Pidge, how are you doing today, by the way? Good to see you, Pidge. Thank you for that follow. Welcome in. Again, today was primarily tide pool ecology. Goal is to come back at least one more time before we have to end up going back home, but you know, it's one of those we shall see kind of things. I should have time.
Got it.
I balance, y'all. This is not great. Thank you for being here. Hydroplex, welcome in. Also, if there's a mod here, can we get a shout out for Streaming Falcon if we haven't already? One of our gaming friendos and psychologist. Laura, I don't even know if a walking stick would work here. I mean, probably it would in some way, but there's just so many rocks. Okay, nothing really in these two. You can see a lot of the cool geology here as well. So if we zip down, you can kind of see why the erosion is as extreme as it is. So if we take a look from this side, right, this is the side, again, you're seeing it straight cut down, and that's the same kind of cut that's going to be on the side of the cliff as well. And some of it's just like really pretty in the water too. Different time of day, y'all, we might be able to see different creatures. So we'll see. Tomorrow might be an attempt at a more of an afternoon Pacific time zone stream for us to be able to check out some of the different ecology, or it might just end up being all morning, which is also fine. This is much more of a representative time zone here, or not time zone, tide pool, because again, you've got a ton of the sea snails, we've got a bunch of the anemones, we've got some urchins here. It's so pretty, y'all. Cliff, hit it. Cliff, people have been asking you to hit it all morning because we've been, you know, at Cliff's. Cliff, how's it going? Well, Cliff, we were looking at some tide pool ecology today, kind of checking out the different creatures in the water. The goal, the super goal, was to find some flavor of octopus that are visible sometimes in these tide pools, and they're not that uncommon in terms of if you do a proper survey of the area. Like, they're not endangered in this zone. It's just I just don't have the gear, and I'm not going to be going deeper into the water to like sift through this area, which is where most likely they would be hanging out. But we've got everything from jellyfish, barnacles, regular small fish, crustaceans of all kinds. We've actually seen a lot of hermit crabs and sea slugs. A lot of unique plants. The anemones have been really cool. We've been testing out their the signaling of their tentacles, tactile stimulation, yet no nervous system. At least they're play on the classic definition. That's correct. They did, yeah. So this is called a natural park. So there is almost no human intervention in this area beyond some zones are fenced off for safety. And then there are the stairs here as well. And it's supposed to be a zero impact park, meaning you don't leave anything and you don't take anything. And again, that's to maintain its conservation of this area. And y'all, we talked about the erosion is a significant issue. You can kind of see on this zone here. Hi, Hogan. Guys, you go follow Hogan. Metalworker extraordinaire, wheels on everything, Lego building, science chatting, beautiful beard, and more. Available at all things Hogan. Ethically sourced wheels. Oh yeah, Hogan only does the most fine ethically of sourced wheels. Single batch, in fact. Import, but all ethically imported, single batch made. Rumor is that he does an olive eva and a half. What is an olive eva and a half, you might ask? You'd have to ask our friend Clayman_dev for all your olive eva needs. Check out the grasses here all going. No, we're at the stairs now. We're at the stairs. We're safe now, Smikesies. And we got a crab too. Went under. Up and away, y'all. We'll show you all a nice overview. Maybe tomorrow the goal can be to go down into those rocks. Check out that other zone. Thank you for that follow. Welcome in. Have y'all here. It does, Alexander, though there was rain recently, which means it's more polluted than usual because of runoff. This is the Sunset Cliffs in San Diego. Alrighty, y'all. Well, thank you for joining us today. I hope y'all enjoyed the cliffs. We will be back actually tonight. Lita will be doing some soil science chat. So that'll be tonight at around 9 p.m. Eastern, assuming that Munchkin gets to bed in time, which has been a challenge since I have not been at home. I'm still away at a conference. I'm going to try to aim to do another IRL stream, y'all, tomorrow and or Saturday. I'll keep y'all posted on the Discord, so please join the Discord and you'll get notified when we come out to these beautiful scapes. I think we'll come back here at least one more day, check out the other zone. We might come at a different time as well, so keep those notifications on, but it should be around the same time as today. So about 3 hours ago-ish. For raids, Smikesies, are we ready? Is plain old Trey still on? We're not able to raid Trey, so I think it'll be fun to take the crew over to Trey. Awesome. Would you mind, Smikes, firing up the raid arena? And we will go over. Just let me know because I actually can't see. Guys, exclamation point raid 1 for the raid call if you're subscribed. Raid 2 if you are following and not subscribed. And if my mods would let me know when the raid comes through, much appreciated. So guys, we'll see you later tonight. Big thank you to Scully Redhawk who joined me on our adventure. Lovely Scully Redhawk here. Guys, we'll be back, like I said, tonight. Back live at some point for another IRL from San Diego before we're off. So guys, we'll see you real soon. Have a great rest of your day. See you tonight with Lita. Thank you, Duke, for the 100 bits. And Smikes, feel free to hit the raid whenever.